Hello, I am Red Mage, and welcome to a Magic the Gathering video featuring the color red. In today's video, we may have found the optimized, correct version of Boros Convoke for Best of 1 Standard. This deck has been the bane of Standard since the release of Karlov Manor, but the exact deck lists, even among those with competitive success, have varied widely. After combing through card stats, as well as league and tournament results, I arrived on this version, which has taken me into top 1% Mythic with an incredible 35-12 record for a 74% win rate. I find many of the specific choices counterintuitive, but my win rate seems to back up what I saw in the data. The primary big picture takeaway is that threat density is the most important quality in a successful Convoke deck. So let's talk about specific cards, starting with the foundation of the deck, the cards that are automatic 4-ofs. Novice Inspector, Voldaren Epicure, and Gleeful Demolition account for our most explosive draws. Resolute Reinforcements is 2 bodies for 1 card. And then we have our payoffs. Imodane's Recruiter pumps our creatures and sometimes makes tokens. And Knight-Errant of Eos, it is not actually a 1-mana 4/4 that draws 2 cards, but it often functions as one. I think Warden of the Inner Sky should be a 4-of as well, though I can understand trimming a copy or 2 for other cards. There are a handful of cards that have higher win rates than the automatic inclusions. This doesn't indicate that they are better choices. Voldaren Epicure and Knight-Errant of Eos will always have the exact same win rate as the deck as a whole. But it does mean that decks that fill out their remaining slots with those cards do better than decks that make other choices. Those cards are Sanguine Evangelist, Regal Bunnicorn, Lunarch Veteran, and Yotian Frontliner. Yotian Frontliner seems like it should be a 4-of, as it expands the very limited number of Gleeful Demolition targets. But I've seen many decks playing 0 copies. Sanguine Evangelist is 2 bodies for 1 card, and can pump all our other creatures every time it attacks. It is sort of like copies 5 through 7 of Imodane's Recruiter. Regal Bunnicorn can be a huge brick wall and can force our opponents to jump block it. Lunarch Veteran doesn't fit into the game plan that well as it's just a 1/1, but it can gain so much life against aggro, it can single-handedly save games against mono red. The value of these extra creatures is easy to see, but as important as what we include is what we cut. Case of the Gateway Express actually has a slightly lower win rate than the deck as a whole. I don't think that means it should be cut entirely, just that people are playing too many copies, so I'm opting to play only 1. I'm also playing only 1 Warleader's Call, and I would certainly like to play more, but I think playing plenty of creatures is more important. Playing only 1 of each of these enchantments makes sure we never get flooded on them, and should ensure that they are always good when we draw them. Finally, the mana base. Boros mana is really bad. I tried to balance color requirements with reliably having untapped lands. It's tricky, but playing Evangelist actually helps make Cavern of Souls better, as we can often name Vampire with our second Cavern. Although, embarrassingly, I forgot, as I always seem to, that Cavern prevents the need to play around counterspells. Sigh. I found this more threat-dense version to perform better than versions I've tried playing 4 to 8 enchantments. As you will see, you are more often able to execute your game plan of overwhelming your opponents. I hope you enjoy the gameplay, and we'll be back at the end to wrap up. Alright, so this is an okay hand. It's not a great hand, but it's certainly not something I'm going to mulligan. We can curve out. We're going to start with the Veteran. So we need to make sure we save the Mirrex for the Evangelist. We can't make white mana for a non-human any other way. So we could Warden Epicure. That actually sounds pretty good. I don't think we want another Mirrex. That would be another source of white mana in case we drew like a case, but that'd only be on the turn it came into play. So I don't think that's worth it. Okay. That isn't good, to be sure. It's a little awkward because we have to play the Evangelist this turn. But we kind of want to trade off both our 1/1s for their 1/1s so that when the Evangelist does attack, it can survive. It is kind of suspicious for us to be doing that rather than activating the Warden. Oh. If they're doing it that way, I'm still happy with the attack. We weren't going to get across more damage if we did it the other way, if we activated the Warden and then attacked. Oh, we should have activated the Warden again. That is highly unfortunate. So we could just activate Mirrex, but I think since we have multiple things to do, we'll play the Frontliner and Resolute Reinforcements in their turn. That maxes out the Evangelist trigger if we get one. Okay. So we will be able to pump the Evangelist with the Frontliner. That would force them to trade both their tokens for it, if that's what they're going to do. So at least that's something, and then we would get through 6 damage. If they have nothing, which there's a good chance, yeah, they just have a removal spell. I think we still attack. I don't think there's really any value in holding back. We've got to fight through this stuff. We could Warden, activate with the bat, and then use one of the map tokens. That seems good. Actually, I think we map token first. Okay. So if they didn't have the Field of Ruin, I would feel pretty good about the Mirrex, even though, like, surely they have another sweeper at some point, right? That's what this deck is doing. It is definitely a control deck. What? Huh. Well, I guess we activate this. That's good. And I'm not going to play the Evangelist in case they have a Sunfall they're trying to bait us with. I'm just going to activate the Mirrex. Oh, okay. Well, we will be able to kill that thing.
Kneel before the Emperor of Kamigawa.
So in this case, I think we just make tokens, and we kind of want to hope to draw land so we can Evangelist plus Recruiter. It sort of gives away the trick, but they have to deal with this board at some point. Okay, they're going to get our Mirrex. Makes sense. Okay, they're going to get our last card, which is really unfortunate.
And I don't appreciate it when people touch my things.
But they don't have any cards either.
Things we'd rather forget.
Wow. So, just to make sure, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, we definitely don't have lethal. In that case, I think we play the Evangelist, kill the Liliana, play the Evangelist, and try to kill them next turn. So if we're going to do that, let's pump up this thing. Okay. So we do have the mana now. We can play Evangelist into Recruiter. We could consider holding that back in case they draw a sweeper. If they don't, if they draw a land or something, then we're just going to win. We do miss out on the opportunity to do this, but I don't think that really matters. Okay, yeah. I think that's the easiest way for us to lose, is if we play the Evangelist and they draw a sweeper. Okay, there we go. And we even get the Frontliner. And they know it's up. So this is not a super explosive draw, but it's still very solid, especially on the play. We can play Warden on turn 1 and activate it with Epicure plus Frontliner on turn 2. Okay. Sometimes they just can't handle it. Okay, well, this is a very explosive hand. We could use one more 1-drop. I guess we just put this on human. I don't see... We've still got white and red mana for anything else. Obviously, Knight-Errant would be the best draw. Okay, well that's great. Now we've got Recruiter next turn, attacking for 13. Their start is solid, but it's not anything impressive. Oh, wow. So here's a tricky decision. We don't have lethal. We could Resolute Reinforcements, Knight-Errant. I think we do that. And it really sets us up for, like, if they Godric next turn, attack with all, then we've got the win. Alright, so we're going to take the Inspector because we can play that right now. We probably should have taken the Evangelist. That way we hide the information. It doesn't really matter. There's not too much they can do about it. Trying to take a defensive position is not gonna win them the game. Unless they're playing in the festivities, there's nothing they could have that really gives them any shot. So, I mean, we just make the straightforward play. Alright, well. If this had a mountain in it, it would be an incredible hand. But... okay. Yeah, this is fine. What do we put back? I think it might be the Inspector? Maybe we'll keep the Inspector because we might need to draw with the clue, I guess. But we want to play the Veteran first, so it's a little sketchy. We definitely want to play the Veteran first. Well, drawing another Reinforcements means that we've got a lot to do using all of our mana. Okay, yeah, they're just going to kill it straight away. Okay, well, that's not too bad. That guarantees we have white mana for Evangelist on turn 3. So we could play the Veteran from the graveyard and try to trade with the Phoenix chick. I don't know if that's gonna yield much results. I think we just play the Reinforcements and then we can always trade with the Phoenix chick using the Bat token on the following turn if we want to. Okay, the code breaker. Yep. So we can trade with the code breaker if we want to. Do we want to? I'm not really sure. I don't know if we're realistically going to be able to win this race. So yeah, I guess we trade off, and the next turn we'll Evangelist and plan on trading with the Phoenix chick. Or we Veteran so that we can start gaining life. It's a little bit risky to wait to play the reinforcements. But it's not like we're going to block anyway. So they're going to fire off whatever they're going to fire off. Yeah. The reason to wait is in case they're playing in the festivities, which is not extremely common, but it's certainly not extremely uncommon. Okay. They are running out of cards, but we are running out of life. We could start playing veterans to gain life when we're trading off. That doesn't seem too bad. We'll play a veteran, a Luminous Phantom. And then we'll maybe, depending on what happens, we'll maybe triple block a Swift Spear. Okay. Well, they're... yeah. So I don't think we block here, because if we do, then next turn they can just bring a Phoenix chick back from the graveyard. So we'll wait on that. So to be mana efficient, we want to... oh, actually, you know what I just realized? We have to play Evangelist plus Epicure. Okay. Well, I was going to say we kind of want to play the Veteran so that we can gain more life. But it's fine. We'll still be able to deal with both the Phoenix chicks. And then that'll make it much harder for them to bring them back from the graveyard in the future. Not that much harder, but... alright. We definitely have to just block both. It's too risky not to. Although, if they can bring both back in the future, that's going to be really bad, too. But we are gaining... we're just gaining one life here. You know what? I'm going to let it go through. It doesn't take much for them to be able to bring them back next turn, and then we're in a pretty bad situation. Alright, so I think we start by drawing a card. Okay, Warden is good. Very good. We can give it flying soon. So, okay. I can't tell if they have an instant or not. They might just be putting a stop in. Definitely don't want a mountain. Do we activate again? I don't think so, right? Yeah, we don't really have enough creatures. Alright. Now, unless they have 2 burn spells, if they attack, we're going to gain a fair amount of life. Okay. We should be good. Wow. Oh, okay. Well, that's great for us. Kill 1 Swift Spear. We'll chump that. And I guess we chump this other Swift Spear. Wait, did we just have the win? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus 8 is 17. Yeah, we wouldn't. Yeah, okay. We wouldn't be able to win either way. So we'll just gain a bunch of life here. And this should set us up to be out of range. Very much so. So we'll activate the Mirrex. Use that. Knight-Errant is good. And then we kill this thing. We're still going to be very cautious. If they're playing Blazing Crescendo, then they definitely could cheese us out with pump spells. Well, this is a little sketchy. I mean, we've still got, as long as we draw something, we've got an early Knight-Errant to refuel. So I think we've got to keep this. It's close, though. It looks like blue-eye control. Okay, well. So I think we put this one on Vampire. Next turn, we can Knight-Errant. Although, if they have a counterspell into... Okay. Yeah, we definitely want to just Knight-Errant here. We could Recruiter, and we'd get in some decent damage, but not nearly enough, I don't think. Well, we don't have any mana to cast the Bunnicorn. We can cast the Evangelist, though. I think we just attack with everything. If they want to double block one Warden and take 5, I'm fine with that. Or if they like Eiganjo the Knight, double block one Warden, they only take 1. But then we play the Evangelist. There's a good chance this gets countered, obviously. Okay. So, on the plus side, they can't Sunfall next turn. If they have a Wrath, we'll at least get the Evangelist trigger. But maybe they have a removal spell now into a Wrath. Or they just exile it. Well, I mean, they 2-for-1 themselves. With a white... I mean, we got rid of a White Sun's Twilight. That's pretty good. What are we worried about here? Wandering Emperor. But if all they have is Wandering Emperor, that's not so bad. I'm really not sure what the best play here is. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. And, you know, if they had just have Memory Deluge or something, then we get in a ton of damage now. And if they have Wandering Emperor... Okay. Okay. Do you have the Sunfall? No Sunfall. Sunset Reverie. Double Sunset Reverie. Alright. So do we just unload completely and go Bunnicorn into Recruiter? That's not going to win us the game this turn or anything. So I don't think we want to do that. Instead... So we're going to activate one of these. Frontliner's good. That gives us a Gleeful Demolition target. That's actually really good. Okay. And then we'll attack with everything else except for this Warden because we don't want to trade it for just one token. I mean, that's pretty good for us. A good sign, specifically. Because it can't be a bait, because we're tapped out. We have nothing left that we can cast. Okay. So they know we have Recruiter. Unless they can counter it, they are dead. So they must be able to counter it. I'm just going to attack with everything here. This puts a ton of pressure on them anyway. Wow. Is that all they had? Do we play that? We don't play the Frontliner. So here, basically, this is how do we lose the game? We lose the game by playing too much into something that is good for them. So, okay, there we go. And we're back to wrap up. So this version of the deck performed incredibly well for me. I don't think I would make any changes, primarily just because it's been winning so much. And as I said before, that's very counterintuitive for me. Playing only one removal spell does not feel right. Playing only one Warleader's Call seems kind of strange. But those cards are only good if we have a critical mass of creatures. And if we play too many of them, we will have a critical mass of creatures less often. I'm certainly not 100% sure that this is the exact right way to build the deck, that you should only play one of each of those enchantments. Maybe you should play a second Warleader's Call and only 2 Evangelist. Maybe you shave 1 Warden of the Inner Sky for a second Warleader's Call. I've even seen decks playing only 3 Resolute Reinforcements, although I don't think there's any way that can be right. But all of the cards did exactly what you would expect them to do. Sanguine Evangelist made us much more explosive in the late game. We had a lot more redundancy. Regal Bunnicorn was big. That's what it does. Lunarch Veteran just gained so much life. Having a card in the deck that does nothing but gain life does not feel very good. But on the other hand, it does die into another creature. So if you've been playing a different version that has a lot more enchantments and fewer creatures, and been struggling with your win rate, I encourage you to give this a shot. Let me know in the comments what you think the best version of Boros is, and I'll see you in the next one.